Hi there everyone, Ryan again. For this video, our goal is to look at how to use Milner to track down scholarly sources which are tied to both writing research and to your individual fields of interest. So for this week, we're looking at how Twitter is used in the Trayvon Martin case. And particular George Zimmerman is going to come up in this as well. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit because I've already done these searches a couple times. So rather than do the general search, I'm going to go ahead and skip directed to the advanced search. Now the advanced search is helpful because this will allow us to really narrow things down right from the get-go. Alright, so I'm going to put in Twitter, and Twitter is, I would say, our main focus. It needs to be in the subject terms of the articles we find, because, or at least, ideally it should be, because Twitter is such a huge topic right now that it's almost impossible to read anything nowadays without seeing Twitter mentioned somewhere. Alright, so we want it in the subject terms rather than, say, inside the text. If it's just anywhere in the text, then the article might just be mentioning Twitter. Alright, now Trayvon Martin, again, very large topic. But in this case, for English 145, I'm going to say that Trayvon Martin's name, it could be anywhere in the text. Since we're studying how writing works, we want the writing genre to be in our subject terms, and we want our content topic to be in the text. It can be anywhere in the text. If the article is an article about Twitter and it happens to cite Trayvon Martin as an example, that will probably be a helpful article for us. If we have an article about Trayvon Martin and it only happens to mention a tweet, that article won't tell us very much about Twitter, right? Which is the main thing that we're looking at. Now, George Zimmerman, I'm actually not going to type him in because pretty much any article that is about the Trayvon Martin case, well, let me back up a bit. Any article that mentions George Zimmerman will also mention Trayvon Martin. However, before George Zimmerman was listed as a suspect, there were articles about the Trayvon Martin shooting that did not mention George Zimmerman. We still want those articles, so I'm going to leave out George Zimmerman. Now, if we go down here, we're going to go ahead and check this box for scholarly peer-reviewed. Now, when I did the search earlier, we were only looking at about 22 results, so I'm not going to check the box for full text at the moment. All right. In terms of dates of publication, if we have Trayvon Martin, in here, that already is going to define our dates. Now, on the other hand, if we were talking about, and Twitter as well is very, very modern, very recent. On the flip side, if you were going to talk about a subject that's older, say you were researching writing as a field, you might not be interested in articles about writing that were published in the 1800s if you're trying to figure out how writing is done today. So in that case, you would want to adjust your dates of publication. All right, but for right now, I think we're good, so we're going to go ahead and hit search and see what we come up with. Oh, no results found. All right. This is disappointing. We just want these scholarly peer-reviewed. We're not looking for full text. So we have to open things up a bit. So what we're going to do, we've got Twitter up here. All right, we're going to put Twitter in all text. If Twitter shows up anywhere in the text, then that article might be of interest. So we'll go ahead and hit search again. All right, we've got 41 articles. All right, this is helpful. It's a decent number to start with, at least. All right, so Black Lives Matter. This article we've mentioned in the past two videos. This is clearly an article we want to look at. Now, for you guys, though, for English 145, ideally I want each of you finding a different article. So if everyone digs up this article, that's not going to help us for our discussion. So there is one more thing that we are going to do, which will kind of open this up a little bit. All right. So we're going to go back up to our, we've got our advanced search. We've got Twitter. We've got Trayvon Martin. What I'd like you guys to do, we're going to switch this to OR. And then we're going to switch this to OR as well. Alright, for a moment we're just seeing what this does. I haven't done the search yet. You're going to type in your field of study. Now for myself, I'm in creative writing. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to put it as a subject term. Because I want to see if there are any articles specifically in the field of creative writing that address Twitter and Trayvon Martin. So let's see what we get. Alright, so we're searching. Whoa! 99,000 articles? That's crazy. Alright, I could click full text, and that will limit it a little bit. We've already got scholarly articles checked, but now we're down to 57,000. Still a huge number. We've got, let's see, when politicians talk, assessing online conversation, political parties, Twitter. Alright. Trayvon Martin is not mentioned. Clearly, we need to fix this problem with the ORs. I'm going to switch these back to AND. See what happens. I have a feeling, though, that this will limit the search terms too much if they're all set to AND. Yeah, I was right. So I'm going to switch Trayvon Martin to OR. I'm going to keep creative writing as an AND. Let's see what this does. Okay, we're back to 52,000 search terms again. So clearly Trayvon Martin is the limiting factor here. So we'll get Twitter and Trayvon Martin. Now let's try to shuffle things a bit. Let's try creative writing. Alright, we'll put creative writing in the subject terms. We'll put Twitter in the text. And then we're going to search. Oh, let's see what we get. Okay, none again. Alright, let's see if all three of these will search. All three in the text. 2. Let's try something like political science. Okay, 10. That's somewhat better. Okay, so this article we've seen previously, Social Movements and Governments in the Digital Age. Alright. So as you can see, if you choose a subject that does talk about, for example, political science, clearly the Trayvon Martin is an important example for understanding how politics work in the U.S., especially with race relations. I find it somewhat dismaying that creative writing is not more specifically addressing this, because I think of Trayvon Martin as a pretty big cultural moment for the U.S. And so that that indicates that it either indicates a difference in the focus of what creative writing looks at, or it could indicate a limitation on the resources available through Milner. I know for I know for a fact that Milner recently had to discontinue several of the resources available for creative writing, because of a cost issue. Funding is a major factor. Political science, I don't know if that's a factor or not. So overall, what I hope this shows is that you can use use Milner to search for a topic, and then search for that topic in terms of your field of study. But again, as you're seeing, using the search terms is not necessarily easy or fun at times. You do need to experiment, try out different search terms, try out different approaches. If we go down here, you'll notice that we did with our limits with full text and scholarly peer reviewed. If we take out full text again, we go from 10 articles to 16. It may well be worth hunting down some of these articles that aren't available readily. So for example, if we go to beyond 2012, this article looks like it's a general overview of race relations. If we go and look this one up, no online full text. But if we go to Google, maybe we'll find it. Okay. Anyway, I'm digressing a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to Milner. Just our quick reminders. That I want to reiterate, your search terms are you should never see them as a one-shot go. Use multiple search terms, multiple attempts. Try to narrow down your search terms so that you can, so that you're not trying to dig through 99,000 different articles. But at the same time, if you're only seeing 10 or 15 articles show up in your search, like as is happening here, that only a small percentage of those are going to be exactly relevant to what you're doing. So to try different combinations, see what you get. And with that, check out some of the other videos about how to use the articles that we do find.